Well, Frank, maybe it's your fault for not referencing Don Bradman at all times. Maybe that's your fault. Maybe you're just a bad Australian for bringing up anybody not named Don Bradman. I'm pretty sure you're legally required at all times to mention Don Bradman on a 15-minute interval basis. Anyway. So for the O-line. DJ Humphries wouldn't be that bad based on his lack of mobility. I'd probably want to put him at guard. And then Bradbury could definitely be one of the tackles. Could honestly even shout out like Ryan Bates to be another one of the tackles. Edwards or Humphreys. 5.9 a year, 6.23 for David Edwards. Just double checking the ratings here. Okay. Now, I think if we can find replacements for these vets, cool. But for now, bring them in to fill out those roles. Hopefully on short-term deals, right? So Garrett Bradbury only wants a one-year deal. So we will offer him exactly what he wants. To probably play left tackle this season. We'll offer Ryan Bates a one-year deal. Try to get him at right tackle. And then we'll bring in DJ Humphries to try and move him over to right guard. And that will at least give us a solid enough O-line in case we do end up drafting a quarterback. That way we won't get him fucking murdered. Top defensive end, Zadarius Smith. It drops off from there. Crash, yes. That means they're a bust. "23-year-old X-Factor defensive end. This guy must have been a UDFA that nobody saw. Apparently, he was on Pittsburgh's roster. Well, we're definitely signing him. Absolutely signing him to try and develop him over the next few years. Absolutely. Absolutely signing that guy. Yes, please. Also, if I hit my... oh, that's right. I got one more active negotiation I can send out. Defensive tackle, DJ Reader, Grover Stewart, Michael Pierce. We don't need any of them. TKH, 7 and 8. Again, UDFA. Such a fun idea. Just add... Okay, you know what? Really quickly. It's going to fuck up my recording for YouTube, so never mind. I'm going to need somebody to clip this in a minute. Although, in case you don't, I'm going to timestamp this so I can put this up on goddamn social media. EA. I have a lot of requests for franchise mode, as a lot of people do. However, the easiest thing that you could add, easiest thing, is in regular free agency, right? Regular free agency, when we're talking preseason, stuff like that. Do you see there's this little indicator of dev trait? Can we please get that in normal free agency? Pretty simple request, I feel, right? At least it should be. Because then sometimes you get to actual free agency and, oh, look, here was this UDFA that has an X factor that I could have signed and tried to develop. I'm going to try to sign him now, but you get the point. Love, your friend Toogie. There you go. That's the message. Let's see if they get it. Anyway, yeah, Toby White will definitely go for him. Oh, goodness gracious. Right side. Grady Jarrett. They won't. You're right. They probably won't. Was that a sign-off or a demand? It was a ransom. Yeah, nobody else to get there. And again, we didn't need a right end. Linebacker. Leo Chanel. Matt Judon's out there. No other players that snuck through. Middle linebacker. Ivan Pace Jr. Nakobe Dean. I mean, these guys certainly aren't too bad. Like, the Kobe Dean's not bad to go after. Honestly. I mean, Leo Chanel has no interest. Who's on the right? Nobody crazy for us. There is an argument that going after Nakobe Dean and moving him elsewhere would be a smart decision. But his block shedding isn't that great. Power moves. Yeah, he is more of a middle linebacker. Never mind. Never mind. Koromo is still the man in the middle then. Top corners, Charvarius Ward, Martin Emerson Jr., Kendall Fuller, Tyler Gordon. So we don't really need anybody here. It's worth looking for any players that might have snuck through. We do need a safety, though. I mean, you could argue, like, oh, hey, a safety, but, like, is he? Great. So add safety. The Honey Badger. Like, Hooker's out there. Juan Thornhill. Reed Blankenship still. Younger players snake through? No. On the other side, Amani Hooker, Deshaun Elliott, Chuck Clark. I don't think we're going to find like that great filler player at safety. So we'll definitely look to end up drafting somebody. Or then just maybe having a veteran filler player in the first place. Yeah, there's really nobody interesting to give decent money to. I mean, again, there could be 1 year filler with like Chuck Clark. It's out there for kickers. I mean, nobody that's overly interested in us. Bradley Pinion is interested, though, as a punter. Jorquez. Were there a kicker, any kickers or punters that fell through? 24-year-old Josh Carty out of Stanford at least has star dev. You know what? Let's send Carty a team-friendly deal and see if he'll take that for the year. Yeah, those are our 5 offers. Then we definitely, you know, have the whole evaluate option, but I always do just like to move forward. We'll see what's up. We'll see. Let's see. Brock Purdy has signed with the Rams. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So Carty and Bates we're still looking at, but Bradbury, Humphreys, and Toby White have all signed. So in theory, that's a right tackle for Bradbury. I'd move him there. Humphreys, we'd move to guard. And then we got this project defensive end in White. To try and train up as soon as we possibly can. We'll hear back from Carty and Bates shortly. That brings us then to punters. Were there any punters we could really kind of build around? No. So no real reason we couldn't just go for Bradley Pinion to fill it out. I mean, why not? Just try to shortchange him a little bit. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see. Go to that final week. There we go. So we have Pinion as our punter. We got Carty as our kicker. I mean, if we can find a younger player to build around, that's cool. We got Humphreys, of course. Bates brought in. Probably going to play him at tackle. And then White. Honestly, pretty good free agency for us. Just filling in a bunch of spots. If we can still get some offensive linemen in the draft, cool. The only real position we absolutely need right now is a safety. But this pretty much then allows us, with $59 million in cap room, to just look at the best players possible. Don't worry about filling out team need. Let's head into this draft knowing that we are looking at the absolute best players possible to improve our team. As we get to our private workouts, gives us 3 more options here. So at the quarterback position, it's still the most pressing issue because we know Will Levis is a stopgap option. We know that Ruben and Oberg and Wheeler are like fringe looks. Michael Vega concerns me because that short accuracy isn't great. 22-year-old strong arm. The short accuracy is bad. And the deep accuracy might not even be that good. He is strong. Does have elite throw power. Does have great awareness as well. So from the looks of it, this guy just has a fucking cannon of an arm. If you can hone that talent, he might be decent. So we might take a look at him. Nazir Richardson doesn't look great. However, DeAndre Perkins has interesting grades. As does Isaiah Martin. We're going to take a look at the quarterbacks here. We got to know if there is a replacement to be found for Will Levis in this draft. And actually, now's obviously our chance to take a look at some players that we might want to target once we get in to the draft itself. So let's take a look here. Now's the time to do our research. Quarterbacks. So let's take a look at those that are projected to be drafted. Dylan Rubin probably goes before we pick. 21 years old. He's got some ability. He's got some strength. Actually, you know what? Let's just go to the other screen here then. Throw under pressure. We won't know the power. But in terms of the accuracy, I mean, Ruben's got it. David Oberg's got it. Vega just doesn't have that short accuracy. If you advance for me. That's fair. For some reason, I thought if I had to go again, it just brought us right into the draft. I knew I was doing something awkwardly. But thank you for the reassurance. All right, let's take a look here then. Let's see. The last bit of scouting. Vega is also first to second round talent. Okay. But if we look at these quarterbacks then, the only downside to Vega is really that short accuracy. There isn't this dead set, like, absolute number one quarterback there, right? I think all of these guys that are first to second round talent are decent, but no one's dead set. Perkins and Martin are not worth drafting. Deep accuracy sucks on Brett Roberts. Mid accuracy isn't that great. So clearly, if we were to take a quarterback, it would be one of the top 4. We're all projected for the first round. From a combine standpoint, no one has absolutely crazy speed, but it is Wheeler, Ruben, Oberg, and Vega in that regard. Wheeler has the best speed and is tied for the best bench. So, has the strength, has the mobility, apparently. Eli Wheeler. He did even better at the Pro Day. So based on anything Combine related, it looks like Eli Wheeler is our guy, if he's still there. If it makes sense to take him. But, yeah, I think for any of the quarterbacks, Ruben, Oberg, Vega, Wheeler, they're all about the same. There's no one where, again, I'm like, holy shit, if we don't get this guy, we just missed out on the next generational quarterback, though. You know? Running backs. Sort by awareness to be kind of the in-between, right? In terms of the grades, Jaquan Saxton. Day 3 running back. His carrying is a bit low, but he could be a hell of a power back. He could be a hell of a power back. We're going to mark down Saxton. For sure. Good vision and break tackle for Damian Byrd. Doesn't have too much else going on, though. And then this guy here, Manny McMillan. Again, as a power back. Really, both these guys, Greg Royal and Manny McMillan, could both be decent. So if we take a running back this year, McMillian, I should say. If we take a running back, it'll be later in the draft. Depending on what those awareness ratings are. And then even Clyde Kramer doesn't look that bad. Let's see, he was a D3. McMillian was a projected UDFA. Royal was a D3. And Saxton was also a D3. Okay. Monroe's a bit too risky. This guy here, Troy Lambert, has some decent things about him as well. Somebody else that we might consider just a late round dart for him. Anybody else? Not that I'm seeing. Except maybe the guy at the very bottom now. Well, B is in the running. His break tackle might not be very good though. I think we got some running back targets. This guy here isn't the worst either, but anybody else? This guy here starts off strong. And his trucking falls apart. Okay. I think we're good at running back. Couple of decent guys to keep an eye on. Fullback-wise, we don't need it all. We drafted a good fullback last year, so not even though Grant Rogan, we'll see if he takes as many steroids as his dad. Could be decent, but we don't need him. Wideouts. We did scout a lot of wideouts this year. Holy Earl Drayton. Projected 2nd to 3rd round with top 5 talents. Hello. 21-year-old deep threat. Dude, we could end up getting the quarterback and the wideout combo out of Tennessee. Ran a 4.33 with the 2nd best vert jump in the class. Holy shit. Good spec catch out of the gates. Good catching traffic. At 6 foot, this guy's fucking mini Megatron. Holy shit. Fucking all caps for Drayton. That guy looks like a #1 wideout. Absolutely. Holy hell. Get some other guys that fall down 3rd, 4th round talent. A lot of guys with projected... Man, look at this. Look at how many of these guys are projected 1st round talents at wideout. Whew. Jesus. So you got Jacoby Sims. Projected 2nd to 3rd round as 1st round talent. You got Hodgins, the same thing. 2nd to 3rd round projected as a 1st round talent. DeAndre McBean is a day 3 projected 1st round talent. And then Jacoby's not a real name, right? And then Mike Roberts is 1st to 2nd round projected. And then some other guys here, too, that aren't that bad in terms of where they're projected to go. Shaq Brown, 1st to 2nd round. A couple of them as well. That's not bad, man. That's not bad at all. Well, we might not get the star quarterback that we want, but we might get the inevitable target that he throws to. I don't even think we have to look at attributes yet. We're trusting the talent range and knowing that we're targeting one of those 4. There's just a lot of people to look at, and there's a lot of quality, clearly. Tight end, we don't know enough. Let's take a look at the potential awarenesses here at the position. Jermichael Howard, again, is projected to go top 5. So I can't imagine he'll still be available for us, but he does look like he could be the real deal. Joel Brown is primarily a blocking type. I'd rather have someone who can at least catch a football. But Deshaun Sinclair, day 3 projected. Looks like he could be a decent late shout off of what we're seeing there. I just want to mark people down based off of attributes so far, and then we'll use like Combine as the tiebreaker. Honestly, Darrell Walker as a 1 to 2. Also be decent. Same for Matt Webster, continuing the Webster dynasty. I mean, quite a few of these tight ends look a little bit boom or bust. It's not a gigantic position of need for us at all. But it does look like we could do some damage here. Even Wiggins looks okay. Even Jonathan Feliz looks okay. Damn. Even these two guys here. I mean, if the awareness is decent, CJ Jacobs is a day 3, and Terrence Bruton also day 3. Good to know. Left tackle. Nobody that we have specific info on. A lot of players with high awareness. Holy hell. This guy concerns me a little bit. Chris Hunt. A couple A's in there, but a D, a couple of C's. Projected for the top 5. I don't know if I believe that. Andrew Sloan looks good as a potential round 1. Andrew, Mr. President. Andrew Jackson as a 2 to 3. Dylan Miller looks good as a potential 2 to 3. This is nuts. This guy is a projected UDFA and certainly looks like he's worth taking a shot on. Dean Younger. Definitely remember that name for later. Some worries in the back end about Mark Stern. Those ratings really start to drop off. About Cody Jensen, we should do a franchise where we only draft dudes with the same face. Couple of F's here for that guy. He falls off way too much. Honestly, Fitzsimmons could be a decent steal. I mean, 2 to 3, it's not a huge steal. And that guy is totally a shot in the dark. Falls off a bit from there. Who do we got at left guard? Definitely Larry Graham. I mean, that guy looks awesome. This guy here, Brian Portillo or Portillo, depending on his preference, could also be pretty good. Stallworth. Just don't be a petty bitch like your father. Whitlock falls off a bit. Tommy Burke, I wouldn't take early, but if he falls, we could go for him. Okay. Centers. Anybody half decent in the center? Total boom or bust pick from Matthew Douglas. And like everybody else is a projected UDFA pick. That's nuts. I mean, Andrew Bolden could be kind of okay. Falls off a bit too much again, I'd say. I don't think there's really anybody else there at center. Right guard. Kind of falls off a bit at the end for Michael Carmichael. Tommy Burke in Mafia 3. Yes. I haven't played Mafia 3 in a long time. I actually never finished that game. Larry Spence also falls off a bit at the end, but starts out okay. Steven Davison could be decent. This guy, I don't know, something about Percy Banks, like maybe. First to second round. Chase Pearson's a real shot in the dark. Trell Hartwell is a real shot in the dark as well. There's definitely a lot of players to target this year, though, which I'm liking. Day 3, it kind of falls off. And that guy kind of falls off, too. Right tackle. Craig says Hartwell probably worth taking. Well, there you go. He's definitely on our board as if he wasn't to begin with. Right tackle. A little bit concerned about the back-end grades, but Josh Felder. I mean, I can't imagine a situation where we take him, but we'll at least mark him down. Andrew Barnard looks pretty damn good. Potential UDFA. Ugh. He falls off a bit too much at the end. That's a shame. So does this guy. And this guy. Like, just no run blocking whatsoever. Not the most complete players we've ever seen. Yeah, I think we're good there. Defensive end. We did scout this out a bit more specifically. So we know that Donovan Petway could be a decent little pickup. Jimmy Porter, if he were to fall a little bit, could be a decent little pickup. Chad Judge, probably somebody to avoid. Let's take a look here then. Don't worry about the impact blocking, so let's get that off the screen. So decent finesse moves for this guy in Porter. He doesn't have the best block shedding though, and he doesn't have the best tackling or pursuit. He does have good play recognition. I mean, he'd have to have the speed, you know? He would have to have the speed and agility. Petway, same thing. Honestly, Petway just looks like a better version off of what we're seeing there. Just slightly better except for power moves. This dude's projected top 5, Mr. Mayo. And yeah, he does look pretty good. We don't fully know everything about him, though. This guy, 3rd to 4th round talent. Has the power moves, decent tackling. Pursuit and power. I mean, yeah, I don't think he'll be incredible, but for a late round filler pick, not bad. Chad Judge also doesn't look that bad. This guy here, back end falls off a bit too much. Comes to pursuit and tackling. Same for this guy. I don't think, yeah, we're getting any crazy steals with the C awareness ratings. Right end side. We get Jimmy Younger, who's a 1st round talent. Projected to go top 5. We got 1st round in the 1st round for George Hastings. Talent, UDFA, and then a bunch of day 3s. Okay. We got Hastings on the board. We got Jimmy Younger on the board already. Donnell Smith has finesse moves, not the best block shedding, tackling, or pursuit. Not a big fan. Al Rudolph. Great finesse moves, great tackling. Papa John's. Al Rudolph. If he were to slip in the draft, could be a decent one. Gary Woodley. Doesn't have the power moves or the finesse moves, but he does have good block shedding, tackling, pursuit. I mean, he is more of a linebacker than is what I'm seeing for Woodley. Day 1 to 2. Round 1 to 2, I should say. And then it's going to fall off because of that awareness. You might be able to argue Thad Grubbs as a day 3, but defensive tackle. Guys to look at defensive tackle. This guy's got good awareness and recognition. The tackling's good, but finesse and power are both kind of mid. Whereas this guy, Forrest Crosby, can at least get around people. Right? You can at least get around people. Same for Kerry Buckley, also projected round 1 to 2. Kind of the case for McBean. Not as sold on him. And the last guy, really good finesse moves for Armon Bunkley. Round 2 to 3. So a couple of decent defensive tackles from a glancery standpoint. Let's see, linebackers. It was a big-time linebacker class last year. So, Herbie DiCarvalho. Good awareness, not the best tackler. Does have finesse moves in pursuit. Shout out to Altex. 27 months on the primer. I'm just going to bomb it with spinach. You'll get a whole bunch of spinach. And you will like it. And you will like it. Eat your spinach and your oatmeal. Thank you for the 27 months, Altex. How are you tonight? This guy's obviously an edge rusher. But he's not the best tackler in the world, so... Doesn't have the best play recognition either. I'm not a big fan, gotta be honest. Tyron Allison. Has some finesse moves and block shedding, but again, he's not the best tackler. Can't play man or zone. I'm not impressed with much so far. Decent block shedding, but again, no power moves or anything like that. This guy's got decent tackling, but he's not a rusher and doesn't have good enough zone coverage. This guy's not a good rusher. Can tackle. He's got some play recognition. I mean, Mark Smith to move to middle linebacker. That's about it. John Fulshania. That don't impress me much. But every Madden every year since Madden 13, do I get it this year? I would wait. I would wait. It's not a big enough improvement. Wait until Black Friday. A lot of stuff they were hyping for franchise, like, it's fine. But... Or outright disappointing, like the Roger Goodell stuff, which is, again, the most tacked-on thing I think I've ever seen. This guy as well. Dude, all these outside linebackers that pretty much serve to be moved to the middle. I swear. Carlos Blake. Not the best tackler in the world. Does have decent pursuit with the finesse moves or the power moves, but not so hot. This guy, Braden Macklin, is at least interesting. He's not the best tackler in the world. That's why he'd be interesting, because he's projected round 1. Oh yeah, if you already have CFB, you got no need to drop more money on Madden. You're not missing out. This guy again, Earl Quincy, like somebody moved to the middle. Final guy that we're looking at, Levi Bradford. His power moves, not the best tackler in the world, not the best play recognition. Okay. Middle linebacker. What do we got here? Quite a few people to look at, actually. This guy's got finesse moves, but he can't really tackle once he gets there. This guy would be a rusher, and he's not bad. Zach Tyson. Move him to the outside. This guy's not a rusher. He also doesn't have the zone. Same for this guy. This guy. This guy might have zone coverage, but he looks really hit or miss. This guy might have zone coverage. D in tackling. Jesus. This guy can't play zone or rush. This guy might be able to, but he's got a D in play recognition. Oh, goodness. Madden 03 was my first Madden. Mine was like 2000? Yes, there was a demo disc, because I'm old. Some people are going to be like, shut up, I'm older than you. There was a demo disc that had, you could play the first half of Giants-Ravens, the Super Bowl. Good times. Good times. At least that's the first one I can, like, truly remember. I'm sure there was, like, a Super Nintendo one or something like that, but... I am not digging, like, any of those middle linebackers aside from that one guy. Right side linebackers. What do we got here? Ed Harrison. Holy shit. As an outside linebacker, Ed Harrison looks fucking amazing. Wow. Okay. I wish that was a bigger need because he looks insane. Not so much for Andrew Snell. This guy do a ton. No, he can't. This guy can't play the outside. Not a fan. This guy can play zone. He can tackle. Okay, Isaiah Seymour. Could be worth it. This guy can't play man. He also can't rush. This guy can't play man or zone. He can kind of rush, but he can't tackle. Yeah, we're done there. Corners. Corners. We got a big win last year. What's going to happen this time? This guy, Danny Gilmore, would certainly be more of a safety. He looks okay, but he would certainly be more of a safety than anything else. This guy can play zone, can't play a lick of man coverage. He would also be more of a safety, but probably worth drafting. This guy we would probably also look to move over to safety. At least he can tackle. A lot of corners looking better at safety. Most of these corners are looking like they would be better safeties. Holy hell. Wow. The vast majority. Crazy. This guy has A-man coverage. Good catching. Could have decent press. Tyler Jenkins. Could be a decent little pick. And this guy here, too. Josh Weatherspoon. Also not looking like he'd be much of a steal, but could be decent. Nobody else to really worry about down the board, I'd say, except... this guy has good press, catching, tackling. His play recognition and man sucks. But Josh Timmons, another guy to potentially move to safety with a late pick. And obviously there's someone like Javier Metcalf who just looks like a weaker version. Free safety. We got a free safety on the super high end. This guy can't play zone, but he might be able to play man coverage. Fucking go figure. Is this just a thing this year? Mr. Cam Griggs. No real man and zone ability. This guy can at least play zone. Trevor McAllister. He's also not like, oh yeah, bet on this guy. Be amazing. Total toss-up, Tommy Wall. Leave it at that. Strong safety. Last position to look at. Some high awarenesses here. Britton Abbott. Could be decent. Larry Addison. Looks like he could be a corner. Because, of course. This guy could play. Dwayne Johnston. The Pebble. Tim Bush. Looks like he could play corner. That's all we're going to look at. There's a good young kicker with accuracy. Jeremiah Cook. Potential UDFA. And two punters that might be half decent. This guy's short accuracy sucks, though, so the best would probably be punter. James Morey, also projected as a UDFA. So we definitely have a game plan here. A big list of targets to potentially get, especially that fucking wideout Drayton, who looks like he could be an unbelievable steal. The only question is, how does this draft play out? Our second draft at the helm of the Titans. I don't need the same video every time, game. Thank you. It is the Nolans Saints with the number 1 pick. Yeah, Razor, I guess you gotta fucking sort by a different way to look at it. It's really dumb. In terms of the draft board, there's nobody that I'm willing to sell the farm for to move up to get. There's nobody I'm willing to trade to move up for. I mean, again, we have picks 7 and 8. There's a good chance we might trade one as well. But the first thing to look at is whether or not there were any players we wanted to get rid of. The answer is probably no, at least not until the deadline. Will Levis's deal is up. Tony Pollard's deal is potentially up. But I think these are guys we want to look to move in the future instead of right now. Especially because their morale is low. So in theory, we'd be selling low. So with the first overall pick, New Orleans takes Mayo, the defensive end. Nathan Mayo goes first overall to Nolans. Okay. Cardinals have been affiliated with the tight end Howard all year long. And that is exactly who they took. Jermichael Howard goes second to Arizona. Denver at 3 takes left tackle Chris Hunt, who admittedly does look like he's pretty damn good. The Giants at 4 take defensive end Jimmy Younger, who also looks like he is pretty damn good. Another top 5 projected pick. Chicago at 5 take defensive end Al Rudolph, who was projected first round. That makes sense. And then Vegas at 6 take defensive end George Hastings. Every single quarterback is still on the board. Wow. Every single one of those quarterbacks is still on the board. As is, of course, Earl Drayton, who I don't think... Like, do we shell out this early to get Earl Drayton? You know? Like, I feel like we should try some gamesmanship there a little bit. But the only guy that we know of, first round talent confirmed, projected around this time, is wideout Mike Roberts. And as much as I would like to build up the receiver core, we really only need one guy right now, and that's Drayton. Roberts isn't particularly fast. He isn't particularly strong. His combine grades aren't good. See awareness. He's not the best route runner. He does have good hands, deep route runner, but he's not overly fast. I gotta be honest, what the game's telling me isn't really lining up with what we're seeing, so not a big fan. Where we know that it lined up with Drayton. I think we could easily look to trade here. Again. Easily. There's nobody... There's so many players, and we have so few positions of need right now where it's like, holy shit, we absolutely need somebody, that we can play the trade down game, still get great players, but also still be able to have a ton of draft picks for the next couple of years. And we'd save a lot of money by not having a 7th overall pick. So I think we at least have to look at the offers to trade down with this first pick. Seattle's offering us pick 22, pick 54, and a 7th rounder. San Fran offering us pick 21. Oh my god, San Fran's deal is so much better. 1 pick ahead. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 7th. Falcons offering us pick 25. Eagles offering us pick 20, along with a 2nd and 3rd and 2 7ths. Colts are offering us pick 26 and their 1st rounder next year, which is obviously enticing. Cardinals offering us... Ooh, the Cardinals. Arizona's 1st rounder next year. They pick 2nd overall this year. So clearly, San Fran's deal is interesting for 2, 3, 4, and 7, along with the 21st this year. Colts pick is interesting because it's a first rounder this year, although it's late, and a first next year. Cardinals offering us their first next year, which could be really high. I do think that Colts trade is interesting. Can't we theoretically pick 2 of these? In theory, yes, we could. In theory, we could. There is a chance at 8 that the Colts would offer us the similar deal. And we'd still end up with a pick this year and then 2 first rounders next year. But just in case we can't do that, we do have to pick whatever one we like the most now. The question is, like, those quarterbacks, unless somebody falls to 26 anyway, probably not going to want him. The only real guy that I absolutely want right now is that wideout, because we know that there are plenty of guys throughout this draft that we could get that would be half decent. Chat, it's a big choice. And it's going to be yours. What do we... I don't think we're keeping the 7th. Do we take the Colts trade? Or do we take the Cardinals trade? Again, the Colts, it's a later pick this year with their first next year. Arizona, it would all be for next year's first, but they finished second last in the league this year. What do you guys think? Big decision.